Hello everyone! A couple of months ago now, I've made a short called Craft Your Own Tools. This was a, in the name, short video about the process of creating your own tools and boilerplate code as a software engineer, and why it is important. The thing is though, this is a massive subject, and I thought we could maybe have a one-on-one, you and I, talk about why I think it's important, and how it helped me in my career, and to discover new opportunities. So when I talk about tool making, what am I exactly referring to? It's just essentially the process of writing some piece of code, preserve it somewhere where it is actually very easy to reach, and use it as you wish on this or that project. The most classic textbook definition of that, at least for software engineers, is boilerplate code. For example, this is my boilerplate right there using next.js and a few Three.js elements to get started with creative coding. Three.js being a WebGL framework that I talked about in some previous videos, and you have an example popping up in the card right now. Right there. Not too sure if I timed this one correctly. We shall see. And so why is tooling important? First of all, and this is the most logical argument, it's obviously a gigantic gain of time. As you know, as I know, as a lot of people know, project setup sucks. Project setup sucks ass. Getting to know what you are going to use on a project, TypeScript or vanilla, do I need this or that loader to make it work with particular textures or whatever? Do I need a CSS preprocessor? If yes, what sort of images am I going to use in the backend? How am I going to deploy it? Does it actually work with Versatility or anything else? And so on and so forth. You get the idea. And so I guess those couple of arguments were really targeted towards boilerplate code. But the thing is this, the way I see it when I create my own tools is the moment when I go deep in a problem-solving session, I would like a way to wrap and encapsulate that session and putting it somewhere so that I can reuse it. It's essentially pattern recognizing where I know I would like to achieve this thing, I know I had this exact same issue in the past, and I know that in my tool belt I have the exact answer to that problem. And this is the first argument. It is dealing with a recurring problem only once. You tell me on paper, when you have an issue, you experience it, you go through it, you try to resolve that problem, and once it's done, now you know how it works, so you don't have to do the research yet into the future because it's in your brain, right? The problem is, as a software engineer, I said that sentence multiple times before, and you heard it many times. Your job is to solve problems. This is on the day-to-day. You resolve so many problems that it would be impossible to remember every single one of them. This is a classic meme in the software engineering industry, but like the problem of centering a div, for example, which is something that almost everybody went through in this industry, it is so benign, it is so small, that from time to time when you do have to do it, you forget those small, tiny, basic tasks because you've been beating on some other problems for so long. This is an example right there. I made a video about this particular project, but this is using this exact boilerplate code right there. And in the video I'm referring to, I go through the other tools I made in the past that I am using on that particular project. And so yeah, huge time gain, obviously. The second argument I want to talk about is the process of creating that tool shapes your brain to make this tool as parametric as possible while not going into too much complexity. And this balance right there, making something parametric but also being careful with complexity, is a balance you play with on the daily as a software engineer. This is also a gigantic topic, but like shaping your mind, gaining this experience of knowing how much thought you need to put into one particular tool for you to use into the future or someone else. This is a big thing that tool making teaches you. Like for example, let's say you work on a project and you need to create, I don't know, a timer, for example, and you know this is going to be a recurring thing in that project, so you make it a component. Making this, you can make it as basic as possible. Just display that number with this color, this size, or whatever. Or you can go as far as making it be able to display just minutes and seconds, so you can have this size. It changes according to what time zone you are using. This I don't know what I'm talking about right now. But you get the idea. This thought process of knowing how complex to do something according to the task you are going to use this tool on, this is a thing you are going to learn by creating your own tools and using those. Another thing is also just the satisfaction. When you are working on something, either on a personal project or for professional endeavors, when you have this thing in your head going, oh, I have a tool for that, and you go to reach it and it actually works on that project, these are one of the most satisfying moments for me as a software engineer. And knowing that you have this on your tool belt and it is actually useful. This topic about tool making is obviously very gigantic in the software engineering industry. This is an example article from 2019 that I found as an example for this video that I will link in the description, by the way, obviously. And while reading this, you will see that the arguments we have are quite similar. But this is a very nice article, by the way. You should read it. And to go back on that tool belt idea, I just absolutely love food analogies. But this guy right there, Ethan, he has a cooking YouTube channel, and the thing I love about it is not only just recipes, but also tips and tricks around the kitchen for you to become a better cook. And this video right there, specifically about pickled onions, he goes into the versatility of this actual food, what he can provide to this or that dish, and this is the perfect analogy for the tools you are creating, you as a software engineer. When you create something for the future you or another team, it is your job to make it as versatile as it can be, while not adding too much complexity, and just keep that in your pantry, or for your GitHub until you need it and have the satisfaction of using something you have made in the past. So there you go. Yeah, somehow I managed to finish this video on red onions somehow. As usual, you watching, if you're a software engineer or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write it down below. Give me your opinion on it. Let's get the conversation going. I hope your week is going fantastic, and I see you all soon on the internet. Bye bye everyone.